r/askReddit. What do people waste money on that amazes you? Used to work in a cinema and it amazed me how much stuff people would leave behind once the film was over. I'm talking the vast majority of a large popcorn or large drink. Sometimes a Baskin-Robbins tub would still have most of it in, melted obviously. There would also be full unopened packs of chocolate, sweets, crisps, sometimes unopened drinks. One of the reasons people preferred working on floor rather than concessions was you'd often find stuff to eat when you were cleaning the auditoriums between performances. Having worked there for years, I definitely learned to respect why prices are high, so I have no problem with people paying cinema snack prices, but so many people seem to just buy certain snacks when they clearly don't want them. If you've had about 3 pieces of a large bag of popcorn, you clearly didn't really want popcorn and just liked the idea of having popcorn. Same goes for people who turn up with bulging bags full of snacks. You're watching a 2-hour film, not camping in the woods for a weekend. Sometimes I'll go watch a film and not eat or drink anything at all. Or I'll just take in a drink because I like something to sip while I'm watching a film. If I feel like a snack, I'll get something, but if not, I won't. I certainly wouldn't pay £8 for a popcorn and drink combo only to barely touch any of it. Wait, you mean there are people who don't finish their snacks before the trailers have ended? Starbucks. Worked there for 5 years. There are regular customers who come in twice a day, every day, and spend $5 to $6 on a drink. I had one who would get 2 venti mochas and a venti mocha frap, all for himself. Every single day. How many calories is that? Some of those drinks are goddamn loaded. Well over 1,000. The frappuccinos are ridiculous. As a former smoker, cigarettes. They were expensive when I smoked, and when I asked my brother, who still smokes, he said he was paying almost $10 a pack. Holy smokes. That's nothing. In Australia, they go for $30 plus. My mother used to smoke a pack a day. Not a small pack, a 50-pack that costs like $45 a pack. She quit and very quickly saved up for a holiday to Europe, ha ha ha. Where do you live? I've never heard of a 50-pack. Most everything here, US, is 20-pack. There are 1 or 2 brands that have 10 packs. In Australia, we have packs of 50. They usually come in 20s, 25s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. Some brands just do 20s and 25s like Marlboro. But some of the cheaper brands would do packs of 50. I've never seen a pack of 10, and I sold cigarettes at my job for 10 plus years. Eating out for lunch for most of the work week. A modest bought lunch is maybe $10, but usually more like $15 plus once you add on a drink and whatever else. I can literally make an entire week's worth of lunches for 2 people with that. I calculated that the hearty vegetable barley soup I made comes out to maybe $1.50 at lunch when I make a giant pot of it and we eat it every day. It's a little hard to calculate because I don't use the whole bag of celery, only a few stalks, etc., but it's way cheaper than buying lunch. And then my coworkers complain they are broke. I get a feeling of shame when poor planning leads to me needing to buy a lunch. Edit. Man, I triggered so many people. I get it. You have justification. Buy your lunch every day. Jeez. Edit 2. Here is the recipe. Edit 3. Here is a bangin' turkey meatloaf that is heavenly. One of the perks of living in Asia. Eating out can be just as cheap as eating from home. Edit. Forgot to mention $1 beer at 7-Eleven, and you can drink anywhere. Would love to have some cheap street food or a ramen bar close by. Disposable lighters. Let me explain. I am a non-smoker. More or less always have been. But in college, several of my best friends and roommates were smokers. Now, it could be easy to say that the cigarettes are a waste of money, and that's basically true in my opinion. But I know it's an addiction, and as the child of 2 smokers, I have seen how difficult smoking is, so I won't go there. But the thing I noticed in college is how many times my friends and roommates didn't have a light. And yet seemingly I would always find lighters left all around our rented apartment or house. So I decided to do a bit of a social experiment. One year, about mid-year, I decided I'd start picking up all the lighters left about the house and just put them in my sock drawer. I wasn't searching them out. I wasn't taking them if they were with somebody's stuff or even if it was with a pack of cigs. But if you left one on the coffee table for more than like an hour or 2, it was going into my stash. And I had made the conscious decision that if anyone ever asked, is someone stealing my lighters, I'd fess up immediately and the experiment would be over. So for about 4 or 5 months, this continued. And it astonished me that my smoking friends never batted an eye or had a second thought to the idea that their lighter was gone. They simply go borrow a lighter, use the stove or matches or pick up another lighter while at the store. Just throwing that money away. So at Christmas that year, we as roommates decorated a bit and put up stockings for each of us, and I split the roughly 70 to 80 lighters I had accumulated into my 3 roommates' stockings. They were beyond excited at this gift, and even when I tried to explain it wasn't really a gift because I had only picked up their lighters, they didn't seem to care. I came to realize that part of the cigarette addiction really was just making peace with the concept that you have to buy lighters a bunch also. What a waste. The creepy toddler-sized dolls that look like Annabelle. The meal prep in a box kits, Home Chef, Blue Apron, Green Chef, HelloFresh, etc. Maybe if you are single and don't have time to grocery shop, but there is still pretty substantial prep skills and I can make dinner for way less than $10 a plate. It's just that it makes cooking easy and fun. I don't think it's a good deal so much as you are now cooking a meal at home that you know what goes into it without putting in a lot of effort. Still a waste of money though. From a price perspective, it's competitive with restaurants where you know what every ingredient is in a dish you are eating. It's slightly cheaper than those really healthy restaurants, so from that perspective it's not too bad. But yes, I agree cooking from scratch is a lot cheaper. Designer clothes for kids, babies when they will grow out of them within a few months. My wife works at a nursery. She has parents who do this and she tells the nursery staff to not let the child ruin their clothes. I'm all for wanting your kid in cute, stylish stuff. But I'll buy it all used, thank you very much. My sister did this. She would brag about the frankly ugly baby trainers being 80 pounds. 80 pounds for a pair of trainers that he couldn't even use because he wasn't even crawling, let alone walking yet. And this is a woman who pretty much gets by on borrowed money. New clothes aren't even a thing for my family. Every time someone is having a baby shower, they get clothes that have been passed down a lot but are still good. Babies are messy, so for frick's sake don't put them in designer clothes that they will immediately barf on and ruin. You're not Beyonce, so stop it. The people who spend thousands a month on Facebook are congregate type games. I'm an avid video game player, but yeesh, get some value for your bucks. There was an article done on this. Wales. High-income earners who spend thousands on mobile and FB games. For a lot of them, staying in for the night and dropping $200 to $300 on Clash of Clans or whatever is cheaper than going out for the evening with their social circle. Strange as hell for sure, but I don't have that money either. Not just mobile and FB games. Any game that has microtransactions. Weddings. Don't get me wrong. I think having a wedding event is important and sharing that with friends and family is great. But there is so much unnecessary excess that goes into it, and people feel so pressured to Pinterest the shit out of the event that it loses its meaning. It ends up costing so much money that it delays other things like buying a house, traveling, kids, etc. Caterers, florists, DJs, etc. will also charge more for weddings than other events. Someone on here said that's because with a wedding, there's more pressure for everything to be perfect, but it still seems like kind of a ripoff. Pet spas. Our local dog grooming place offers a blueberry facial treatment as part of the services. My husband's expression when he read the invoice was well worth the extra $5. The place I board my cat, they cater more to dogs, has suites. You can put your dog in that include such things as aromatherapy and flat screen TVs. Those rooms are $75 a night. The place is very nice though, and it's only $20 a day for my cat. Damn, these dogs live more luxuriously than I do. My ex-wife spent a large chunk of the payout she got from my 401k on tattoos. I'm pretty sure she uses child support on occasion to get them as well. This is absolutely insane. I just don't get it. That's ridiculous. I love tattoos and I'd love to have more, but I stopped having disposable income a few years back when I bought a house, and so I just don't get tattoos anymore. It's not hard to just not get a tattoo, lol. Shoes. As a girl, it's a common stereotype that is taken lightly that we spend so much money on shoes. But I never understood it. I have 3 pairs I wear on a daily basis: gym shoes, flats, and boots. However, I know guys that literally have 100 pairs of Jordans and girls with 50 pairs, some of the same shoe but a different color, And yes, I understand the desire to match outfits and such. Shoes are costly, however. I was mad I had to drop $50 on my gym shoes. Yet, it amazes me people will gladly drop $100s to $1,000s on pairs of shoes, some just to say they have them. Good shoes can make a difference. I have about 4 pairs I wear regularly, and I've built up my collection over several years. They all cost quite a bit, but they're insanely comfortable, supportive enough to ease my knee and foot pain, and they will last a long time with inexpensive repairs done once in a while. Reddit Gold for celebrity accounts when that celebrity won't be using it again until their next AMA. When I worked for Dish Network, I couldn't understand some customers paying for the adult movies. I'm talking an extra $200+ a month in just porno. Get an old Sears catalog, you savages. What do you mean my balance is still $300? I just mailed in my monthly payment. Ma'am, your monthly payment is $200 and you're only sending us $100 a month. I want an extension. I can't afford food, electricity, or my house payment because of how expensive my bill is, ma'am. Disney Channel is not more important than actually feeding, clothing, or providing shelter for your kids. Source: former Dish call center representative. I worked for a debit card company that acted as bank account for people with bad credit. Around Christmas, they would complain about not having money to get their kids gifts. I always had to retell them that I don't pay them. Cracker Barrel does. I just see their records and whatnot. They had over $100 in late fees alone from Redbox constantly. Impatience. Save up for the thing you want first, then buy it with the credit card, then make a payment on the credit card with the money you'd already set aside. With just a little patience, you can build your credit history and get the thing you want for zero additional cost. Hell, you can even get paid to build your credit history if you get a rewards card. Impatience and impulse buying. People being bad with money keep the economy going. Doesn't mean you should screw yourself over for the economy. Cigarettes. The family members who are constantly broke and asking for money are the same ones who smoke 2 packs a day. I'm not a smoker, but I am a fairly heavy drinker. I discovered that I drink to fill my time. Sure, being drunk is an addictive feeling for me, but I drink mainly because I have nothing better to do. I started reading more, started playing board games, video games, guitar. It has been a couple weeks since I've had an alcoholic drink. I used to drink every day. We all need things to fill our time, and if we can't find anything to do so, at least getting drunk or getting a nicotine buzz is something that makes the boredom more bearable. Webcam girls. You know there's an infinite amount of porn out there. For free, right? I still watch, but I've never given them money, but it amazes me how much money guys shell down for these girls who literally at times do nothing. I know some go farther than others, but I've literally seen webcam shows where girls just talk fully clothed and guys still give them money. Loneliness is a powerful thing. When I was doing it, most of them were just lonely and sad. They want you to talk to them and make it personal. Almost all of them told me their names and what they liked and wanted to talk about their shitty jobs. You got the occasional weirdo, but my regulars were just lonely men. Edit. Also, there's a lot of money to be made in camming. I was pulling $600 minus $900 a month doing it a few hours a day. Edit 2. I was 19 and in college, so yeah, $600 minus $900 for 6 to 10 hours a week of sitting on my bed, eating Cheetos while wearing a bra, and talking to some sad middle-aged man was pretty sweet. They pay you that much just to talk to them? What? Camgirl here. I guess some can just sit there and rake in money, but it's not like that for most of us. I can't even explain how much time we spend thinking about camming, video making, photo taking, interacting with followers, etc. It's a full-time job. Some part of my mind is always occupied with, how can I do better? I'm just saying that we put work into it, too, and while it's totally fine that people don't want to pay for it, for example, I'd never pay for cable. I have Netflix and plenty of other ways to entertain myself. But when people start stealing our content, it's extremely disheartening. I love doing what I do because I have an exhibitionism kink and I love creating pretty things that I know people will love, and this allows me to do a lot of things I don't normally get to do IRL. But I won't lie, I'm also thankful for this job because I have a chronic illness that leaves me out of commission at times. I can't have a 9 to 5 because my health acts up and leaves me too sick to function and employers won't tolerate it. So camming allows me to work on my own schedule and depend on myself, instead of collecting government money or depending on family. So it really sucks when people pirate my stuff, because it's basically like, hey, great job, you just stole stuff from a sick girl who's just trying to get by and not depend on disability or charity while she deals with stupid health issues. If there's so much free porn out there, why do some people insist on stealing from girls who charge for it, instead of finding something they like from the vast amounts of free porn on tube sites? Stay-at-home moms that have full-time nannies for their kids. That's just lazy. I feel like it's a different situation, but my parents ran their company out of our house for a while, so we had babysitters, nannies who would often be around, even when our mom wasn't technically working, just so she could take care of stuff around the house. That continued even when the business moved out of the house. It's hard to get housework, or simple stuff like bills, receipt organizing, done when you have kids constantly bugging you for attention. I'm a nanny. I've worked for a couple families and did an AMA a few years ago. I stopped the gig when I realized my next job was gonna have to be for a stay-at-home mom. It was all that was available when I was leaving my last family, and I knew I would spend all day judging the mom and getting irritated she wouldn't take care of her own child. Nannies are amazing, and I understand the need for one. If you're unavailable yourself to care for the kid, I nanny for family now, which is awesome, but I also watch my own child too on top of it. If I can handle 2 teenagers, and I have been with them since middle school age, and an 8-month-old, Mrs. Smith should be able to handle her fricking newborn. My God, the laziness is insane. And it's usually so the mom can have me time. Okay, I get that. But you have a child, and bonding with your kid is important. If you're at home, spend that time with your child. Don't pay someone to feed your baby while you drink wine and watch soap operas. Don't pay someone to walk your kid to a park while your fat ass eats Oreos and takes a bath. Walk your kid to the park yourself. This thread is making me so mad. Expensive cars when they can't really afford it. I've seen too many people driving a Mercedes that should be in a Toyota. Beer budget, champagne lifestyle. This makes me feel better to keep driving my paid-off 2011 Honda Accord. I'll probably never get a new car, even though every day I am like, I want a V6 lol, I gotta get that materialism out of my head. Lottery tickets. They're called stupid people tax for a reason. I've seen people blow way too much money on them, but as a once-in-a-while thing, they aren't so bad. I generally only buy them on really bad days, my philosophy being that losing $2 won't make my day worse, but even just winning $5 will greatly improve my day. Not keeping track of or not using monthly paid subscriptions, Spotify account that you forgot you had, gym membership that you used once, etc. It's unbelievable to me that people just aren't aware of something they're being billed for on a regular basis. Guilty of this. Subscribed to the Creative Suite for a year because I thought I would use it a lot. Turns out I paid $240 just to use Photoshop 3 times. Lesson learned. And if you cancel before the term is up, Adobe will charge you for the rest of the term. I had a big fight with them over this, because I requested a cancellation via telephone during the last month of my term and was told by the representative the subscription would be canceled. 2 months later I see I'm still being billed. So I call them and tell them about it, and they claim no record of cancellation, and told me I'd have to pay for 10 months if I cancel. Bullshit. A call to my CC company took care of it. Funny story. A few years ago my mom's card was being billed by Netflix for 3 different accounts. We all used one account and it was $11.99 at the time to allow for 4 screens at once. One of my younger siblings made another account and another made another account and just forgot the password. I had to go deactivate 2 accounts by calling technical supports. Really nice people, by the way. Just wondering, did they reimburse the amount that you paid for the other accounts? Oh. My mom was paying on 2 Netflix accounts for who knows how many years, not to mention, she had a Prime account that she had been paying every year for 4 years and didn't know about. And I had to call in and shut it down. No reimbursement, but it was easy AF. They were pretty swell. Buying expensive appliances on credit with a high interest rate. My wife and I went out to buy a washing machine the other day. The price nearly doubled if we wanted to pay over 12 months. Frick that. We will just save up for a few months and buy it outright. I was going to buy a new PC on credit until I saw the interest total. So I got a credit card with an 18-month interest-free period and paid it off way before that. Paid no interest on it at all. I did the same thing when I bought a new mattress. 6 months interest-free, paid off the whole thing in that time so I didn't have to pay interest. Those are traps as well. If you can pull it off and not miss a payment, good on you. They are banking on people forgetting just once, and the terms of the contract usually state that interest accrues from day one even if you are 1 day late with your last payment. Oh, I'm sure. I just had it set to auto-withdrawal every month for 6 months. It was over a year ago and it worked out great for me. I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who can't build something like that into their budget though. Bars. I mean, once a week, 2 weeks is fine, but people that are up there several days a week, running up big tabs every night. F that noise. That used to be me. I love going to bars and hanging out with my friends, but holy frick is it expensive. I changed my ways significantly after downloading my transaction history for 2014 and realizing how much I spent at bars. It was more than 1/3 of my gross income. It was the same for me and my wife with eating out. We had gone on a pretty good kick of cooking, eating at home, and then we just started going out more. $30 here, $45 there. By the end of a month it was a lot. Like more than our mortgage, a lot. Now we have a newborn and we're actually saving money overall because we cook and eat at home all the time right now. Even with buying 1,000,000 diapers. FIFA. Same game every year. Admittedly, I nearly fell into this trap with Football Manager, but at the last moment realized how hypocritical it was of me, so I looked at the changes and new features. Instead of paying £25 to get the new game, I've decided to just get a team update through the Steam Workshop. Cable. The internet has everything edit, except sports apparently. I apologize for my oversight as I do not watch sports. Edit 2. Okay, so there are sports online and I was correct the first time. But it sucks looking for a decent stream of sports. I buy NHL.tv every year cause there's no fricking way I'm watching non-HD hockey. It's just terrible, you can never see where the puck is. Yes, I know of the Reddit streams, they don't have everything I want. I work for a telecommunications company and it's super stupid to have cable. We literally only provide cable because people want cable. We don't even profit on it and it's $60 plus a month for the main bulk of channels. Doesn't even get you the good sports networks, HBO, Stars, etc. People out here paying $100 plus just for cable services when a $20 on Netflix and Hulu or however much Sling TV costs gets you that much and more. Once the NFL and other big sports networks finally realize the internet is better than cable, there'll be nothing left at all for cable. Buying hard-boiled eggs. I saw a lady at the grocery buy a small bag of them last week. I didn't even know they sold hard-boiled eggs. It literally takes 20 minutes to boil eggs. How lazy can you be? I wonder how much they cost her. I live on the outskirts of a medium-sized metropolitan area. These horrible subdivisions are popping up everywhere. The houses are going for more than $700,000. Absolutely no yard. Cookie-cutter houses jammed together. If you have enough money to buy a $700,000 house, by all means do. But these houses are horribly built, gross-looking and completely impractical. I just don't understand the people who buy these houses. You don't pay for the house, you pay to not have to live in the city. Good schools equals few children of color. Edit. I guess I'm being downvoted because folks think this is my attitude. It's my observation of why commuters will drive over an hour to work, so their kids don't go to school with minorities. Hope that helps. Maybe I should have put it in quotes or something. Edit. Still being downvoted. Probably by breeders who commute over an hour. I don't agree with it, but that's pretty much what my in-laws and their neighbors did. It's a randomly white AF development with stupidly expensive, ugly, junk houses on tiny lots that all go to the same school that is disproportionately white in comparison to the rest of the county. They outright admit the race thing is the main reason they moved there too. Rent a center, errands, and the like. No, an iPad is not worth $3,600, especially if it gets repoed after you miss a single payment and also because it'll be fricking obsolete by the time you pay it off. How would you feel to be the iPad repo guy? iPad repo dude. Open up, I know the iPad is in there. I've repoed easily over a couple hundred cars, but I can't imagine how you'd go about repoing something like a TV. Hello sir. We're from XYZ company. We're here to repossess your iPad. Frick off. Door slams in face and locks. Yup. You do that a few more times, then it's rolled into collections in court. Eventually, if it's a really expensive item or a group of high-priced stuff, they garnish your wages. If they know where you live and work, that is. They have different ways of measuring need to pursue restitution, but if the item is used, almost paid off, and has a low remaining value compared to how much they've already made on that specific piece, it'll get written off and your account will be flagged. I'm really glad no one has said, Steam games, yet. I might have to change my lifestyle if they did. Edit. Some fun websites for all you Steam users. Well, spending the equivalent average of $30 per month, in a year, during the summer or winter Steam sale isn't really bank-breaking, so there's that. Yeah, I like to imagine most people's gaming expenses are well below some other hobbies. Even at $800 minus $1,000 a year on games, not necessarily hardware, that's a lot lower than say a handful of snowboarding trips, lodging, food, gear, pass, travel, etc. Of course, you still have the crazy people that will drop $7,000 on train skins in Train Simulator, but those types are a minority, I hope. A new cell phone every freaking year. My friend went from S8 to iPhone 8 to iPhone 10 all in a few months. Why? New phones. I mean, I can understand if your phone is busted or outdated, like you've got the iPhone 4 and want to upgrade to the iPhone 7. I just don't get why people get the iPhone 7 and then immediately get the iPhone 8 a year later. And don't get me wrong, I'm not ragging on Apple users specifically, that's only an example. People to do the same thing with any line of popular smartphone. It seems like a total waste of money to me, especially considering the differences between generic smartphone 10 and generic smartphone 11 are pretty minimal. I sorely regret trading in my perfectly functioning Note 4 2 summers ago for the Note 7. After all the recalls were done, I was pissed, and just wanted the 4 back, which was of course not possible. I wound up with this S7 Edge. Now don't get me wrong, I like the S7 Edge, and I'm going to hang on to it for as long as I can. No more expensive, latest and greatest upgrades for me. And when this one does have to be replaced, I'll buy the newest used, refurbed phone I can find and pay outright for. Our receptionist stops every morning at Dunkin' Donuts to buy a toasted bagel. She doesn't make very much money. Why doesn't she just buy a sleeve of bagels from the grocery store and toast them at home? I may be jumping to conclusions, but I think this is one of the things that people with a decent financial situation, lots of friends and a healthy social life can never fully comprehend. There are times in a lonely, challenging, difficult life where entering a store on your way to work, saying hi to Betty or Tom, who then hands you a treasured luxury, is a way to keep a semblance of control and a certain dignity that may seem to you like $2 but to the person doing it, worth $1 million. Could also be your receptionist wants it warm and fresh baked. Pretty much this. I'm homeless and living in my car, and I'm sure people would think me spending $2 on a hot coffee every day is bullshit. I can fill up a bottle with free water at the library in nearby college, but I can feel like a human being on their way to a normal life when I go get that coffee. Good luck with everything, bro. I'm always amazed people spend so much on fireworks seeing as it all goes up in smoke. Then I remember I'm a filthy smoker, so do pretty much the same, except more regularly and with the addition of horrible illness at the end of it. Spending £600 a month, every month on takeaway, rather than cooking. Source: friend's older brother and his girlfriend. My girl's parents eat out for every dinner plus a good chunk of lunches and their weekend breakfasts. They spend over $1,000 a month on food easily. Even if you can afford to spend that much money per month on food, it's still a fricking terrible decision, because you could get A+ ingredients, groceries, and make amazing dishes yourself. In the process, you would improve your cooking skills and most likely be eating far healthier. Restaurants always seem to use a ton of salt and oil, butter. Americans, takeaway in the UK equals carryout or getting food from a restaurant to go in the US. Once heard of a very affluent family who throws out boxes of cereal after the kids have eaten from them one time. Because tomorrow morning the cereal won't be fresh anymore, so they'll just open up a new box. One of the kids doesn't want the same cereal as his sibling? Open two then, and after you pour their bowls of cereal, throw the basically full boxes in the trash. Pantry looked like a doomsday shelter. They definitely sell mini boxes. Credit card interest. I know a bunch of people who are so shocked by their high interest rates. They thought it was like an interest-free loan to yourself and then are surprised when making teeny payments doesn't do anything. My wife does this. We have a substantial amount in savings, but she'll still toss a $1,700 tuition charge on a card, not tell me about it. We both maintain our own credit cards, then get upset when I got annoyed about the sudden interest charges affecting the budget. Just pull it out of the savings account and pay the fricking card. But what if we need the money? We have plenty. 2. We have excellent credit. Either of us can go grab a low-rate unsecured loan in a few minutes, which would be cheaper than that fricking card's interest. So I started taking it out of her pocket money account in the budget. That stopped it pretty quickly. Brand name over-the-counter drugs. Advil is the same as ibuprofen. Benadryl is the same as diphenhydramine. Advil PM is just the combination of the two. Save yourself some money and just buy generics. If you're not sure what the generic is, just read the label and find the active ingredient. Gotta get that good CVS or Equate brand. Actually, I used to work for the company that made about 85% of the generics at the time. Don't know the percentage now. Costco, Walmart, CVS, Target, you name it, all the same company. They didn't make any name brand that you would recognize, just generics at all the big name stores. The drugs were very high quality and they had a lot of scientists on staff to ensure dosage and efficacy. No need to pay for name brands. Slot machines. Like anything, I understand that the value to be had is entertainment, and there are many different ways to pay for entertainment, whether that be going to the movies or sporting events or what have you. But to me, it seems like a total waste of money to dump a bunch of dollars in what amounts to a shitty video game. Of course, some might say that dumping money into my various hobbies, that I do for entertainment, is an equal waste, so really I think it comes down to this. Only the person spending the money can truly say if what they're spending it on is a waste or not. Car stereo systems worth more than the vehicle they drive. My sound system was about $1,200. The car I put it in cost me $20,000. But if that car broke and I had to get by with a $500 car, you can bet your ass I am still putting that sound system in it. Yup. I went from a 2011 Scion to a 2000 Jeep this year after I got T-boned. I just cut up the MDF to make a new sub-box that is a better fit for the space in the Jeep. Everything will be transferred over soon. Kid across the street from me couldn't understand why the battery in his car would die while he was driving around. 55 amp alternator, 1200 watt stereo. Some Magic the Gathering cards. Don't get me wrong, I play the game too, but unless you play in tournaments and compete to be the best, I feel like bragging that you have a $964 deck is just screaming addiction and poor money management. I mean, what if Magic is their only hobby? If that's what gives them pleasure, I say go for it. Now, obviously you can be spending beyond your means, at which point, I'd say that's bad. But that's not necessarily the case. Foaming hand soap. You can buy a 4-liter bottle of liquid hand soap at Costco and make enough foaming hand soap that your great-grandchildren will be washing their children's hands with it. Audible. The cost of audiobooks is insane, but Overdrive is free through your local library, if you're willing to wait a little while for the latest releases. For people who say, oh, but my local selection is shitty, you can get an out-of-state e-card for a couple of the bigger libraries in the US. Brooklyn, for example, has over 20,000 audiobooks and 100,000 ebooks, is free for New York State residents and will cost you $50 if you live out of state, way cheaper than an Audible subscription. Additionally, a lot of places give you a Hoopla membership too, so in a lot of cases you don't even need to wait for the book you want. Anyone who's in a position to listen to multiple audiobooks a month, either on a work commute or actually at work, would probably be better off, and it has the added bonus of supporting the library network. Is the $50 a one-time fee? Or like, yearly, monthly? Yearly, but there are cheaper options depending on which library you go for. Brooklyn is just the one that gives you the widest range for your money on Overdrive, but you may find that access to things like Lynda and Hoopla through other libraries is more up your street. Nice, you have made it to the end already. Thank you for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so, as there will be more videos like this in the near future.